Good evening, viewers. Thank you for joining us. This is an English edition of news from Dalsan TV, Somalia's premier television news network, broadcasting to you the latest news from Somalia and around the world in both English and Somali. My name is SHEIKH, and these are some of our top news headlines. The Under-17 national football team received in Mogadishu after CECAFA Under-17 win. President Hassan Sheikh congratulates Ocean Stars for CECAFA win, pledges support for the national team. And Ebola vaccines could be scaled up for Uganda, indicates a new report. Welcome to this broadcast from Dalsan TV. The Somali Under-17 national team have been received in Mogadishu following a historic win in Addis Ababa. The team were received at Mogadishu's Adan Abdulle International Airport by a host of senior government officials of the federal government of Somalia and the Banadil regional administration. The Somali Under-17 national team arrived in Mogadishu with the CECAFA Under-17 2020 trophy following their victory in Ethiopia. Senior government officials, led by the governor and mayor of Mogadishu, Yusuf Hussein Jim'ale Madale, greeted the heroes with a warm reception at Adan Abdulle International Airport. Before their arrival, walls in the street of the city were painted blue with pictures of the players as part of an appreciation move. Ocean Stars were crowned champions of Eastern Central Africa after beating South Sudan in their finals of the CECAFA Under-17 on Saturday. After stopping favourite Uganda at the semi-final stage and qualifying for the Under-17 AFCON 2023, the Somalia team, cheered on by over 200 Somalis living in Ethiopia, came all out and dominated the game and emerged victorious. Meanwhile, President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has congratulated the Somali Under-17 national team for winning the CECAFA 2022 tournament in Addis Ababa. The president said the Somali government will support the national team and all other sporting activities in the country.
President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has congratulated the national football team Ocean Stars for winning the CECAFA Under-17 championship. The president said the win of the national team for the continental tournament for the first time is an exciting achievement of Somalia's football and assured the team of his maximum support. President Hassan Sheikh said the federal government, through the Ministry of Sports, will continue supporting the national football team as it prepares for the continental tournament.
It goes in history that the people who took the Somali name so high are young people who are under 17 years old. It is the responsibility of all of us and the young people in our country to lift the name of Somalia so high.
The president spoke when he received the team at Villa Somalia, Mogadishu, after arriving in the country following their win. Somalia defeated South Sudan to emerge champions of the Total Energies Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON 2023 qualifiers for the CECAFA zone. Coach Nur Mohamed Amin's team defeated South Sudan 3-1 in the final play at the Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia on Sunday. Somalia claimed the top spot for next year's Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Algeria.
Meanwhile, former Somali Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble has travelled to Galmudug to join offensive against Al-Shabaab in central and southern Somalia. Currently, operations are ongoing led by the Somali National Army with the support of elders and political leaders to remove the group from areas they control across Somalia.
Former Somali Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble on Sunday travelled to Galmudug to join an offensive against Al-Shabaab in central and southern Somalia. Mr. Roble was received into Samare by the president of Galmudug, Ahmed Abdi Kariye, the vice president Ali Eid, a former president of Galmudug, and a delegation that consisted of ministers, parliamentarians, and officials of the federal government of Somalia. "We have reached Galmudug this afternoon to take our role in liberating Galmudug," said the former premier on Facebook. The Prime Minister said he will participate in plans to liberate the areas of Galmudug under control of the militant group Al-SHABAAB. In April, the National Intelligence and Security Agency (NISA) warned Al-SHABAAB and Al-Qaeda-linked armed group of plans to target Somali Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble and President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed. "We informed the key government officials of a plot in which the Al-SHABAAB mafia wants to target the President and Prime Minister," the National Intelligence and Security Agency said on Twitter. The Somali government has declared a total war against the insurgents who have besieged regimes in Mogadishu for 16 years.
Meanwhile, the Serum Institute of India plans to manufacture 20 to 30,000 doses of an experimental Ebola vaccine by the end of November for use in trials in Uganda. The response to Uganda's outbreak has been blunted by the absence of a proven vaccine against the Sudan strain of the virus. More than 20,000 doses of an experimental vaccine against the Sudan strain of Ebola could be manufactured by India's Serum Institute and used in trials to see if it can work to deal with the current outbreak in Uganda. Vaccines have been deployed against the Zaire strain in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but there is no proven effective vaccine against the Sudan strain. 19 people have died so far, and there have been 54 recorded cases since the outbreak began last month. At the weekend, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni imposed a lockdown on 2 districts at the center of the outbreak. Researchers at Oxford University are working with the Serum Institute, the world's largest vaccine maker, to see if their experimental vaccine, which appears to work in early trials, could now be manufactured. There has been some frustrations over funding shortage for the vaccine development, according to news agencies. And now to Sierra Leone, where there is the first women's league. Sierra Leone's first professional women football league has been launched with a match in the northern city of Makeni, kicking off a 6-month season in which 12 clubs from across the country will compete. The 12 privately owned clubs will compete for a cash prize and a trophy in April. Supporters hope the league will boost the success of the national women's team, which failed to qualify for the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. But they face several key challenges, including inadequate avenues within the country, and the national 45,000-seater stadium in Freetown, opened in the 1980s, is currently being renovated with support from the Chinese government.
My dad normally told me, what guys can do, ladies cannot. And I want to fight that battle, and I'm on it right now to show my dad that, to prove to him that what guys can do, ladies can do too much better.
And now on to the aftermath of a strike in Kyiv in Ukraine as the war between Ukraine and Russia intensifies. Russia has hit Ukraine with a wave of attacks as well as bombing the capital Kyiv with what appears to be Iranian-made kamikaze drones. Airstrikes hit critical infrastructure in 3 regions, cutting off electricity in hundreds of villages across the country, according to Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal. At least 8 people were killed, and 4 in Sumy and 4 in Kyiv. Calls have been mounted for sanctions on Iran, which denies supplying the drones. A week ago, the Ukrainian capital was hit by Russian missile at rush hour, part of a nationwide attack which left 19 people dead. And with that story, we come to the end of this broadcast, an English edition of news from Dalsan TV, Somalia's premier television news network, broadcasting to you the latest news from Somalia and around the world in both English and Somali. My name is Yunus Deko. Until we meet again, have a lovely time and enjoy the rest of your viewing.